What's happening, everyone? Dr. Joe here. Happy Sunday evening to each of you, and wherever you are in the world, the country, the city, the state, or wherever that may be. I hope each and every one of you are well and blessed. It's a cold Sunday here where I am. I don't know where you are, but it's a beautiful Sunday. Every day that we see is a great day, and I'm so glad to see each of you. And I'm so glad that we are gathering together on different terms. If you guys remember this time last week, we were at our prayer and declaration service, getting ready to kick things off. Here we are already almost a weekend tomorrow. It's amazing how the days are going by so quickly. But here we are as a village. Here we are together for another amazing village chat. So salute to each of you. I want to give a big shout out to my amazing team, to all of our leaders in both the 40-day turn up and the Journey 3.0 process. Without you guys, there would be no process. Salute to each of you. And I want to congratulate each of our participants for the week that you've had, for the results that you've gotten, and for the lessons that you've been able to learn. If you're watching this and you have no clue who I am, what this process is, who these people are in this group, I want you to know that we are a part of the world's greatest transformational processes. We don't call them programs because programs start and they end, but a process is something that is ongoing. We specialize here in the village is what we call it, in both the 40-day turn up and the Journey 3.0 process, helping people to become their best possible selves holistically, mind, body, and spirit. If you desire to be a part of a future class, if you desire to change and want to be and go on a journey of self, you can visit us at journeylife.tv, www.journeylife.tv. If you go to that website, you'll see information about what this process is all about, who we are. There's information about me. There's a link to the various videos for you to peruse. There's a free downloadable book that you can get that shares with you philosophical ideologies about transformation, growth, etc. And it's all at your fingertips, and everything, of course, is free. You can also follow us on Instagram at Journey Life TV, Facebook Journey Life TV, and right here, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to us in order that you get all the updates. Click on the notification bell so you are informed as to when we are going live and when new content has been dropped. What is the Village Chat? The Village Chat is great because it's the time for us to spotlight real life people who are actually traversing through the process. These are individuals who are actually in the process. They're going through it. They're in the trenches. They're having their ups and their downs and their experience. And this gives us the opportunity to spotlight them, to hear their stories, to learn more about them. And it gives you an insight in terms of how this is. And it gives you the opportunity to see real people just like you. Because the one thing about us that connects us as human beings that transcends race and religion and socioeconomic status and sexual orientation are our stories. The human story is something that is unique to every individual, and it's something that all individuals can connect with. Because at the end of the day, regardless of who you are and where you're from, we all want the same thing. We all want to be healthy. We all want those that we love to be healthy. We want to be at peace, and we want to maximize our potential and our time on this planet. Out of all the places that I've ever been in the world, I see more similarities in people than I see differences. So with no other delays, I want to introduce my guest and our guest today for our next Village Chat, and I'm going to bring her on, and she goes by the name of Norma Mendez. Miss Norma, how are you doing?
I'm great, Dr. Joe. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you feeling on this Sunday evening?
I'm feeling good. Just trying to finish all my food.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's great. That's great. Well, you look great. You sound great. And I'm so glad you agreed to be a part. And we're just going to jump right in. You and I were chatting a few before we got on live. And I'm excited because just like they don't know your story, I don't know your story. So we're going to jump in and just have a good time. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us about yourself. Where do you live? Where you're from? And tell us what you do.
So I'm in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Um, I'm an HR director. I've been in HR over 25 years. Um, and I started gaining weight in 97.
Okay.
And I know now what the trigger was, right?
Right.
So there's where the peak would start going, up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Chicago, human resources. So you deal with people.
Yes.
Wow. And how did you get into that industry?
By the grace of God, I wanted to be a teacher, and then my son, going through grade school, I said, "No, I don't want to be a teacher." All my friends became went into law enforcement, and I didn't want to do that. So I had an opportunity when I was an executive assistant. They said, "You've got 2 weeks, to figure this stuff out, and
Mhm.
if you can do it, because our payroll person is leaving, our HR person, and then it's yours." So, I was fortunate to be able to get in where without a degree at the time, and to be able to gradually learn.
Wow. And you hear about HR, human resources, but a lot of people don't know how important HR departments are in companies and what they do. So when you hear human resources, what is your responsibility and how do you engage in that responsibility day to day?
So my responsibility is basically maintaining the relationships and cultivating relationships within the company, and helping the employees, right? And also helping our managers. And on the flip side, it's also keeping within compliance and keeping things running smoothly. So while we may not always be popular,
Mhm.
and folks may not think that we do care about the employee and that we do look out for them, we're always ensuring that everything's done fairly.
Okay. All right. Well, do you get a lot of do you get a lot of enjoyment in what you do? Do you like dealing with people?
I love it. I love it.
All right. Tell us the best part about it and the worst.
The best part is when you can make an impact in someone's life.
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing. The worst part is when you have to terminate someone who unfortunately doesn't deserve it, but it's just, a situation where there's budget cuts or we need to cut things back. That's the hardest part.
And that's very interesting. A lot of people are never. A lot of people have been on the side of being fired, but a lot of people have never been on the side of firing someone, and they neither of them are pleasant.
No.
So when you have to let someone go, what have you found? And I'm very fascinated in this. It's no good way to let someone know. I know that, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done it enough. Can you talk about some things that maybe you can do to make it not as a big of a blow? Maybe what are some tips for maybe small business owners or people who are in high level management who have to do this? Maybe we can learn from you.
I mean, you need to be empathetic, but sometimes you're in a situation that if you've had someone on a performance plan and they never improved, and they just continue to go downward. There, it's a little bit. It's while you're empathetic, you still have to provide the documentation, the proof where they went wrong, where they didn't make the changes that they needed to make. But when it's something regarding a termination because there's a budget cut, there's where you need to remind the individual, right, that you value them, and being empathetic, trying to provide them resources, even with the termination that needs to be done because of performance, you still want to provide them resources as much as possible. I mean, at least I've always done that.
Right.
Where I've directed them, try, going through a recruiter, try, getting your resume out there. That's just what I do. I don't know if other HR folks do that,
Mhm.
but it's being empathetic with them because you never know if you're on that other side of that table.
Wow, that's amazing. And you say something that I think a lot of human beings, especially these times, miss out on. That's empathy. Just basic care. And to your point, when you bring someone in and you have to let them go because their livelihood, it's like I get what you're talking about. In my opinion, people are a lot different in this post-COVID era than they were 2 years ago. Do you, in being that you're in like this area of human resources, do you get that feel as well? How has it been for you?
We're at a private company, so our employers have been phenomenal in caring for our folks.
That's
But I
great.
think they got to see, if they hadn't seen it and experienced it personally, they got to experience how much we do care.
Mm,
Because we were overly conservative. We were testing our folks on a weekly basis. We covered all the costs. We have tests if they need them.
right.
We were just, um, just very kind. When we had to work from home, we didn't skip a paycheck.
Wow.
For a while, we tried to do some type of like challenge online just to keep people engaged. But they all got to see you didn't skip a paycheck, you didn't lose your job,
Hmm.
you still had your benefits. So they've learned to appreciate that.
That's cool. That's cool. That's good. That's good to hear. Well, let's switch gears. So here you are in the 4-day turn up. How did you find out about
So I found out from my high school friend, Talvish Morganfield Cage.
it?
She was posting these platters, and she was just letting folks know, hey, I didn't want to do this, but I'm losing weight. But
Right.
she wouldn't give us the details yet, right? Um, so once she hit her goal, of course, everyone celebrated that, right? Why
Right.
wouldn't we? And then everyone started asking, well, what are you doing? What program are you in? What have you been doing to get to this, to reach this goal? So
Right.
that's when she says, well, you can, you'll need to sign up in advance.
Hmm.
And so she shared the link. So everyone, of course, was, going in there and registering.
Hmm.
So, I mean, and I believe she's let many, many individuals, she's referred many folks.
Okay. So you're in the you registered for the process.
Hmm.
You went through the registration process. You got in. How has it been since you've been in versus what you thought? Did you have any expectations? How has your process been thus far?
So for myself, when I heard you speak, I said, I messaged her. I said, "He's a man of God, isn't he?" She said, "Yes, he's the real deal." So for me, I've always known that weight gain,
Hmm.
there's a spiritual component, right?
Hmm.
But I've never been able to focus on that. So for me, that's what intrigued me when I heard you you were talking about the word and the
Right.
Holy Spirit, and how, these are addictions, and how so for me, that was very huge.
Hmm.
Um, and my expectation was, you mentioned that, there's things that in your life that you've had, things you've had to heal. So you had this wound that
Right.
now became an infection, which
Right.
now led to an addiction. So for me, that was huge because I immediately knew when, right?
Mhm.
1997, I got divorced from my son's dad. So that was big for me because I was always thin, but little by little, I would gain.
Mhm.
I'd lose it, I gain it. But then as you get older, it's a little bit different. So
Right.
for me, that was huge, to be able to identify it. And the fact that you're a man of God,
Mhm.
that just, for me, I knew that I was in the right place.
Well, that's great. That makes me feel. I'm glad that happened, and I really want to hone in on something that you said because I believe, Norma, that the connection that you just made between your own struggles, weight gain, and spiritual things, how you've linked it yourself, can help a lot of people who are watching. Not only those of us who are going through it, but a lot of people watch this who have never gone through the process and they really don't understand that. And you can't get that type of feedback about spirituality and weight gain in traditional diet. So would you mind maybe speaking to maybe some things that you noticed about yourself that you feel has led to your weight gain or to this physical manifested state that you wanted to address?
So for me, I mean, and we're being candid, it was rejection, right? When you go through a divorce,
Hmm.
because one can just say divorce, but it's rejection. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Divorce is detrimental, and then you're how can I put this? You're suppressing it, right? because you're taught to, suck it up, keep going.
Yeah.
And for me, I was a mother, he was a great dad. I mean, I'll never, have to worry about that. But I had to learn to survive. And you've mentioned this, where you get into survival mode. Um, and so you you really don't deal with that rejection, with that hurt.
Hmm.
And so it just continues to snowball, but you're suppressing it. So
Right.
what do? You either drink, you party, you date a lot, I mean, or
Hmm.
you gain weight,
Hmm.
right? So there's a variety of things. So for myself, it was that weight gain, not all the time, but for myself, that's when I started eating
Hmm.
in a very unusual way, eating at night, sometimes eating in my room. That's something I never did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eating late at night, that wasn't my thing. Eating junk food, that wasn't my thing. So
Hmm.
for me, it was the rejection.
Wow. It's powerful because a lot of people, it's 594 of you watching us live, and a lot of people are relating to what you're saying in the comment section. And it was the same. It was the same. And see, the thing about it is, Norma, um, when you do it, you're not aware of it. I know I wasn't. I was just, it's like, well, I'm eating food. Well, I wasn't really connecting the dots between my emotional pain and using this thing that we do all the time called eating. And I just didn't make the connection. So for you to have seen that and to make that connection is a great first step, because what happens is when you're able to identify as you are, you can't be ambushed anymore. Now, you are at least in the position to where if the temptation comes, at least you have a type of awareness, so that's great that you've been armed and that you're in something that, that is resonating with you. So that's great. That's awesome. So let's talk about your group. Who's your group, your leader? You
So
want to shout?
we're the Health Crusaders, and my leader is Andrea Jordan.
Awesome.
Great leader, great team, and my
Yeah.
buddy Tamika, great.
Shout out.
Just a great team. I mean, it's when you said that it's a safe environment, it's an open platform. Um, it's amazing in that everyone, it's all positivity. So it stems from the top to the bottom.
Right.
So I think that's phenomenal, and I mean, kudos to your entire team because they've been great. But with our leader, it's just it's a lot of time and effort. It's a lot of messages and group meet.
It is. So
It's a lot, so it's appreciated because regardless of how many people have questions, she's always addressing them. Folks are trying to help one another, so it's greatly appreciated. Great team.
that's awesome. How's it been being in your group in terms of connecting with other ladies? How has that been?
So for me, I had to learn to be intentional because even though I have other things, I remember what you said. Guess what? You're busy, you have a family,
Right.
your team is volunteering.
Right.
So for myself, it was connecting more often with my buddy, and I need to be more intentional with connecting in the group meet. That regardless of what I have going on, so does everyone else. But the intention is coming together as one and communicating.
Right. Right. That's awesome. And I agree with that. How have now, so we started off last week. Last Monday, we kicked things off Monday and Tuesday. How was your experience during the detox those 2 days?
I'm a coffee drinker. I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay. Okay.
So coffee is huge. And I was one that I would tell you, I will drink coffee and starve, but I will never give up coffee.
Mhm.
So this was huge because guess what? I had to do it.
That's
And
amazing.
the fact that you prepared us, because for myself, I said, okay, I know I might get headaches, but you know what? We're just going to get through this. I mean, yes, I was sick. Going to the restroom repeatedly, but I was fortunate that I took the days off. I took heed, and
Good.
I'm glad that I did. Um, but the greatest thing is that what you said, it's in the mind. It's like, okay, this is only one more day. You're going to get through this. My head hurts. Take
Right.
some Tylenol. Tuesday, I think it was the worst because I was supposed to serve at prayer at church. And I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to be there at 4 a.m. And I'm glad I did because I wasn't feeling well. but then towards the evening, all of a sudden I was able to start food prepping, and then all of a sudden I felt bad again. And I remember, barely listening, to your live that night. And then I know we had our team meeting. So our leader was gracious, right? We didn't make it too long, but I could barely even communicate, right? Because my thoughts weren't together. But
Right.
I just knew that I knew at the end I was going to be able to start this program. I know that regardless of what I'm going through, and it relates to what we go through in life, right? Um, you know the ending from the beginning. So what is the end? That this is only a 2-day fast. You
Right.
know,
Right.
can you do this for 40 days? Yeah, Christ gave up much more. So
Mm.
for myself, it was like no one's going to pity you. Get
Right.
over the coffee. And the good thing is, I didn't snap at anyone. I didn't.
I
I
know how
didn't
it is.
terminate anyone because usually I get slow or really agitated. And
Yes.
I said, Lord, I said, if this is really from you, that I'm in the right group, and I believe I am, then I need to not do those things because I need to be able to change and not always react because I can't have something I want
Right.
that may not be healthy for me.
Right. That's powerful. And it's great that you did that, and it's other people as well, because when you get to the point to where you're weaning off of coffee and you're having withdrawals, that's a sign that your body had created an addiction to the caffeine. And it's great that you're going to purge it. At the end of the process, we have a debriefing, and I'm going to show you how to incorporate coffee safely and how to not. But this is such a great time to purge because you can't detox your body effectively while consuming addictive things like caffeine. So it's counterproductive and so one kind of forces against the next. Well, let me ask you this. So we went through the 2-day detox, and then you started eating the meals. How has the new eating been for you?
I was truly amazed. Everyone would continue to say you're going to start getting full, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe not. Um, so being forced to, you know, get foods focusing on protein, carbs, and fat, because now I have a roommate, a friend of mine, and she cooks. But for me, it was like, oh, I'll just buy salad or buy something else. So this is the first time in 6 months that I've really had to cook
Mhm.
because I can't buy this food outside, right? I can't have someone make this food
Right,
because I need to learn to be able to do this for myself.
right,
So
right,
it's forced me to, it takes me a long time. I'll be honest, like, to do 3 meals, it'll probably take me 2 hours because I'm weighing. And if it's not coming right, I'm going on Google
right,
and yelling at it, like, tell me how many grams, how many calories are in these grams. So then when I go back to my app, I'm trying to, and for me, I'd rather go a couple of points up than a
right,
couple of points down. Or
right.
if I have to take a little bit out of, off the scale. So that's been a learning process because that's just not something that I do.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about you. You say you're Puerto Rican.
Yes.
Have you been able to infuse your Puerto Rican culture into your cuisine?
No.
What do
I
Puerto Ricans eat? What's a typical Puerto Rican dish? What's something
um,
popular?
we eat they call it arroz con candulas, which is rice with pigeon peas, pork. We have fried food items. So basically, I can't eat any of that.
Right.
And then the seasonings we use, I mean, they have a low sodium
Okay.
seasoning, but that's not part, right? Because it has salt.
Right.
And then we have a food coloring packet that we call sazon, but we can't use that.
Hmm.
I could probably do sofrito, which is a bunch of vegetables blended into a sauce,
Right.
but I'm not really making anything on the stove top.
Right.
I'm putting everything in the oven or in the air fryer. So that's a little bit different,
Hmm.
but I'll survive.
Okay. Well, you're doing great. You have a great attitude. You have a great spirit about it. That's one of the reasons why we wanted you to be on Village Chat, because it exudes through the screen. So that's awesome, and that's amazing. So here you are. Does it feel like we've been working together for 6 weeks? Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's a
Does it
lot.
feel like that to you?
It went quickly.
So how does it feel to be a weekend? Your weekend, we got the detox behind us. You're over that. You got 4 days of putting in repetition. How does it feel to be a weekend? Do you feel like you got a good start?
I feel that I do. It's just, discipline, right? Trial and error. And it's like keep going. I still have to figure it out when I serve at church how I'm gonna do this, but I have to figure it out, right? Um, and just staying focused because again, I'm not the only one, everyone else, and you have done this with thousands of individuals.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna trust in the process and just discipline myself to try to figure it out. Like right now is it's hard for me. I know that I have one more meal and I'm just thinking to myself, for the love of God, can I please stop eating? But we could eat a cheeseburger and fries.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? No one ever believes in it until they're there. What I recommend when you get to, let's say, for instance, you've had 3 meals, and this can go for everyone who's in the process who's watching. You get to the point where you just don't want the final meal. There are two options you can make. The first option, let's say, for instance, you're about to go to bed soon and you just don't want the food. That's fine to just go to bed because food is fuel. It needs to be fueling what you're going to do and not what you've
Oh,
done.
okay.
All right. So that's one point of relief. The second point of relief is you can scale back the volume. You can have instead of 400 calories, you can do 200 calories or 175 calories, and you can take the same meal and maybe halfen it if it's like during the day. Because the key to eating every 3 hours is, and the way you all are eating, is to stabilize blood sugar. And when blood sugar is stabilized, it helps us with burning fat optimally. So that's what we're trying to do. So take that for what it's worth. If you're at the end of the day and you know you're going to be going to bed within an hour, fine, take your rest. You're fine. You can start over the next day. But what you're going to notice is as you progress through this process, as your activity increases, the hunger you'll start getting hungrier, and that's a sign that your metabolism is picking up. And it'll take a couple of weeks sometimes to get to that point. So you're headed in the right direction.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that's awesome. Now, I know I want to ask you just a couple more questions. I don't want to take too much of your time, but someone may be watching this and they may be like, well, I think I want to try that. What do you think it takes for a person to do what you're doing and to be successful in it? Like what would they need to be aware of from Norma's vantage point?
You need to take that first step and realize that I'm not in good health. I mean, I didn't gain. I mean, I lost weight in 2020, and within the last year, I gained weight.
Right.
But I came to the realization where I wasn't feeling comfortable after I went through COVID at the end of December. I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, I gained weight. But the reality was, I didn't gain weight in those 3.5 weeks. I
Right.
had been gaining it gradually through 2021 because I wasn't eating right. I wasn't exercising. I knew what I didn't do. So I had to be honest with myself
Mhm.
and say, you know what? You need to do something. And
Mhm.
so when this opportunity came, um, I know for me, again, spiritually, I always knew that there was something with weight gain, and spiritually. So for me, that was huge. So when you see friends posting, Talbish she's phenomenal. She's very influential. I love the fact that she always shares. She doesn't keep such great news that's going to benefit others to herself, and
Yeah.
that I love about her, and I
Awesome.
appreciate that.
Selfless.
Um,
Yes.
so when you see folks posting stuff, ask questions,
Mhm. Mm.
because at the end of the day, failing to try is never good. But I'd rather try and fail.
Mhm.
But we're not going to fail here. So for me, I figured I had nothing to lose, and I also thought this was going to be like thousands of dollars,
Mhm.
right? Because I had no information. I said, "Oh my gosh, this can't be free." I
Right.
said, "There's no way possible." So when you said free, I was like, "Oh Lord." I said, I can handle sowing a seed,
Right, 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 right,
but
right.
for me, but I was prepared. I said, you know what? I got my bonus at the end of the year. I put money aside. I said, we're going to wait.
Good.
So for me, that was huge, and I had to ask myself, what's a priority to you right now? Do you want to go on a diet and just lose weight for a short period of time,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want to just change this, address that 1997 hurt, that wound,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if not, it's just going to continue getting worse. I'm not getting younger, I'm getting older, so I needed to do something about it. So I had to be honest with myself.
Mm. Well, that's great. I think you have been, well, let me say this. A person like you is a great asset to our village. You have a beautiful spirit. It's been a pleasure hearing your story. Thank you for sharing your story. Everyone in the comment section, got 720 people, are like your number one cheerleaders. So, Norma, all the way from Chicago. That's where my wife is from. So I'll be hearing this after this interview.
The Windy City.
All right, she's going to be doing it. So, Norma, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule for agreeing to be a part of Village Chat. You are amazing. You have a sweet spirit, and we are blessed to have someone like you a part of our village.
And thank you for following and being obedient in your calling.
Well, thank you.
It means a great deal.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for those.
Thank you so much.
And I received it. I'm going to continue on. So thank you
No,
for being a part, and I look forward to the great things that we're going to have together over the next several weeks.
awesome. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye bye. All right, Miss Norma. What a great interview. Norma Mendez. Give it up to her. Wasn't she amazing, gang? You guys are showing her great love. And I'm glad about our conversation. We're in good time. I try to shoot for about 30 minutes because people have families and it's Sunday evening. And I want to take some time to address a couple of things. But if you are a person and you're watching me right now, there's 722 of you watching me live. This is going to be a good conversation that was inspired by Norma. If you're watching this right now and you are not a part of the process, let me know in the comment section. Just say, I'm new or I'm not a part of the process. Just something to let me know who you are. It's nothing you've done wrong. All is good. But I just want to be certain that I'm speaking specifically because I want you all to learn something. And it's based upon what I just heard Norma say. Okay. What a great interview. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Shout out to her leader and to her I think Health Crusaders. I think that's the name of her group. Health Crusaders. I think that was the name of her group. All right. Now, how many of you, and this is going to be what I'm about to say is going to be very, very profound. This is what I'm about to give you is profound information that is going to be valuable to you. Okay? How many of you have ever lost weight and gained it back? In the comment section. You've lost weight and you've gained it back. In any time of your life, you don't have to say when, how long ago, but Dr. Joe, I have lost weight before and I've gained it back. Okay. Virtually all of us have been there. And let me give you some free game. Okay. The reason why many people lose weight and gain it back is because they are never fully made aware of the spiritual and emotional causations of the habits that were formed that led them to that weight gain in the first place. Okay? Every individual who's ever been overweight, okay, something emotional and spiritual has been the impetus of that. It could be pain, hurt, divorce. A lot of times, as women, get to an age where they begin to have struggles with getting older, and maybe within themselves, not to say that people feel this way, but they may feel, I'm not what I used to be, or I'm not as appealing as I used to be, or I don't have the body that I used to have, or I don't look like I used to. A lot of times that struggle creates emotional trauma, and that person begins to subconsciously make agreements within themselves that, hey, this is just how aging is supposed to be. And what happens is you spiritually accept a state of existence that you don't have to, but you consciously are not aware of this. All of this is happening on levels that transcend your consciousness. And that one example can happen a billion types of different ways. You see? It can happen from people who've been hurt. It can happen with men who have so much on their shoulders. You see, men are different than women. The struggles of a man is completely different than the struggles of a woman. One is not harder to bear than the other. One is not easier, but they're different. Because in society, when you are a man, there are things that are expected of you. You understand that? I'm supposed to provide for my family. I'm supposed to be certain that my wife is okay. I'm supposed to be certain that my daughters have what they need. I'm the one at night wondering, okay, how am I going to juggle all of this? How am I going to be certain that Lynette has what she needs so this can happen, so that can happen? Things pop up, and see, those stresses can weigh a man down, and that impacts that man on a level because he doesn't have the social acceptance to be depressed. Understand that. Because when a man is depressed and he's acting out on his feelings, he's viewed as weak or soft. So men have to internalize more. We can't express ourselves. That's why a lot of men can be recluses. They don't open up because we are in a society where we're trained to be like this. So it doesn't matter who you are, but what you have to understand is when you're gaining weight, it's a reason for it. It's a reason for it. And if you never identify the reason, you'll always lose the battle. You'll win a battle, but you'll lose the war. You'll lose weight and then you'll gain it back. You'll get a little release and feel a little bit better about yourself, but then you go back to it. You never take the time to really address the cause of it. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that you have to understand about weight loss is this. I'm about to tell you something nobody has ever told you before. Ever. First time. Pay attention to this. The most important part of permanently losing weight is not when you're losing the weight, but it's when you hit your goal And that season that you have to maintain it. That's what nobody puts energy on after the goal because we're so focused on what? The goal. You're so fixated on a number, on a dress size, on a waist size, on getting your blood pressure under control, on reversing diabetes, on being able to wear your high school leather jacket, whatever. We're so fixated on it. So all of the energies, all the seeds, all of the spiritual type of manifestations in our mind, we are telling ourselves, I'm not going to stop until I hit the goal. And you hit it. You lose the weight. You feel better about yourself. But the problem is when you get there, there's no plan to maintain. You have to train yourself to be what you just accomplished. And it takes time. I heard a rapper saying, he said, listen, he said, man, the day I became a millionaire, he said, I had $1 million. He said, I was so happy until I spent $1 and I realized that when I spent that $1, I wasn't a millionaire anymore. Same situation. You can't be on a weight loss journey, fixated on a goal. You have to be fixated on a what? Lifestyle. So all of you right now are automatically, not all of you, but many of you are trying to set yourself up for failure because you're trying to figure out, well, how can I eat this and that? You're in the wrong frame of mind. Well, Dr. Joe, how do I focus on maintaining? Glad you asked me. However long it takes you to lose the weight, the most important thing is maintaining that weight loss for the same amount of time minimally that it took you to lose it. So if it took you 8 weeks to lose the weight, you need to be able to hold that weight for 8 weeks. Because the programming of yourself is not going to be in how you lost the weight in 8 weeks, but it's being committed to continually do what I need to do to maintain where I've come from. See. Also, as you move forward and you grow up and you go your separate ways in terms of this process, you got to understand right now, just going through the turn up is not going to be everything that you're going to need to always be tight and right. You have to, throughout the year, always commit to resetting, doing something different. Maybe you gained 3 or 4 pounds, getting it back down, recentering yourself, addressing habits. Because what you'll find yourself is when you're not in this weight loss type of mindset, you'll get to the point to where you start traveling and life will happen. And then what'll happen is you'll slowly begin to create small habits that are putting you in the wrong direction. But see, when you maintain that weight for an extended amount of time, you will be more hawkish about not letting it go versus a person who just hits a number and you rebound back up. You got to reset continually. You see? Paul says, I die daily. He was saying to himself that every day I have to do something that kills my flesh. The flesh is like a mole. It always grows. You cut it and it'll grow back. That's how it is. It's very, very difficult to be in a world where it's food everywhere you turn around. Everybody is eating. Everyone is overfed. Everyone has access to all types of poisonous foods. It's difficult. So you have to already tell yourself right now, forget when the 40 days is up. Now I'm going to teach you how to do it. Don't worry about, oh, what to do. I'm going to teach you all of that. Don't let that be your concern. But when you hit your goal, you got to maintain it, because you have to train yourself that this is the new me. You see? It's like, it's kind of like, when you hit a goal and then you become so you become so excited about the goal. It's like, well, now what? The now what is the maintenance. So I want each of you to remember this valuable information. When you're losing weight, it's about maintaining it. You see? It's about, okay, I've gotten my results, but now let me stay at this. And I got to keep on working. All right? I got to keep on working. I'm going to take some calls. I hope this helps. And then we'll sign off about 15 minutes. Those of you who are watching me, you have a question that you want to address, you can call me. Let me open up the phone lines here. I'm going to let you call me. And then I'm going to give you some important information about something else. Y'all just give me a minute. Give me a minute. What's my password? Let's see. All right. Y'all can call me here. Questions that you may have. Give me a call. See y'all's I got some information for y'all, bro, sis. I got it. Shout out to Coach Larry Matthews. I see you, Brother Larry. I remember when you were on the Village Chat. I remember that, Brother Larry. And here you are, a leader, sir. I remember when you came through. Shout out. All right, Regina. This is
Call from Michelle Roll.
This is Dr. Joe. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, my name is Michelle Roll.
Turn your computer down, please.
Shout out to Coach Larry Matthews. I see you.
You got to hit mute on your computer, please.
I just did.
Okay. How are you? Who am I speaking with?
Michelle Roll. How are you?
How are you, Michelle?
Good. I just want to give you a shout out to say I am enjoying every bit of this. This is hard work. I'm passionate, and I'm a passionate person, and I just enjoy your passion. I enjoy everything that you've given us, and it's worth more than $100. I mean, Norma said that she thought it was $1,000, and I'm just want to say this is excellent.
Well, Michelle, that makes my entire day. I'm glad that you found value in it. Who's your group, and where are you from, Michelle?
I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, and my group is the Slim Divas, and we're Cheryl Benitez. I'm trying to say her name correctly. Mm-hmm. Cheryl Benitez.
Okay.
Is my group leader.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you had a good first week. And are you excited about the weeks to come?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Well, it's a lot of work prepping this food. I mean, like Norma said, you've got to put the work in. But once you get it down, I'm weighing everything. I'm writing on it.
I'm gonna say something. I'm glad you brought that. I'm gonna say something about that. But thank you for your words. I'm glad that our village, has been of value to you. And God bless you and continue to work hard. Okay.
Okay,
All
thank you
right.
so much.
Be blessed. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
She's absolutely correct, gang. It will get better. You're gonna get to the point to where the prep, you don't even think about it. I promise. And what you have to do is keep on doing it, weighing the food. It'll be second nature. Second nature. I was the same way. But you got to go through things to create new habits. But just trust that the way that I'm leading you and trying to guide you is the way that you need to be led. Okay? The plant-based eating is the way that you need to be led. All right? So let's keep that in mind because it's very, very important. All right?
Call from Maggie.
This is Dr. Joe. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Dr. Joe. My name's Magnolia Carter. They call me Maggie. I'm on Kim Movation.
How are you? How are you, Maggie?
Chosen for Change.
How are you? What is your comment or question?
I am doing really good, and thank you so much for doing the 40-day turn-up. My question has to do with my detox reaction is what I'm going to use as the word for it. Now, I do take a daily CBD dosage of 30 milligrams in an edible form normally, and it helps me with my arthritis and sleep, and it also helps with anxiety. During the detox, I don't know if it was related to not having any of the CBD in my system, but during the detox, the second day I was doing a berry, and I became so cold and shaky that I was advised to go ahead and just change over to the water and to stop the detox at that point. And it got so bad that I took only 5 milligrams of a sublingual amount of CBD, and I immediately warmed up and felt better. And I wanted to know if you thought that was possibly due to my body being depleted of the CBD or from the detox, or if it might have been just a reaction to the detox.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think it's more so of your reaction to the detox than the absence of the CBD. And the reason why I say that is because people, when they're detoxing, it's like grief. You know how people grieve differently? It's the same way with detox when people detox. A lot of people get cold, a lot of people get agitated, a lot of people have bad headaches, a lot of people have bursts of strength, a lot of people break out in hives, skin issues, things of that nature. For the mere fact that it left when you maybe it's something about the CBD that helps you and you warmed up. I can't conclusively say that, but I can say that people do have different experiences when they're detoxing.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I do understand very well about grief because I am a hospice nurse and I deal with end-of-life care. So I have a good understanding of that part.
You have a good understanding of what now? Grief.
When you talked about it, like, the grieving process.
Yes,
like
yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for calling in. And did you have a good first week?
Oh, I think I'm having a great week, and I have to tell you that Kim is such a wonderful, wonderful leader for us.
She is.
It's been a great group.
Well, wonderful. Well, I'm glad you're part of the village, and you be blessed, okay?
Thank you, and you have a great day.
You too now. All right, Miss Maggie. Call
from.
This is Dr. Joe. Who am I speaking with?
This is Maggie Stewart.
Another Maggie. Wow. We got 2 Maggies.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm well. What is your question or comment?
I want to be brief as I possibly can, but I have a comment and I have a question. And I just want to let you know, sir, that you have changed my life for the better.
Praise God.
And it's just so amazing. I can't go through all of it, but you have brought value to my life, and I just wanted to publicly speak that and let everybody know that you have brought value to my life. I wanted people to know that. Okay.
Well, praise God for that.
Love you, Dr. Joe, very much. My question is this: I was already having problems with digestion. I'm taking a pill every day just to have a movement, and I just want to know how long possibly will it take for me to get normal and have some regular movements? Because even with the pills that I take, I still wasn't being, it wasn't even working once I started eating.
Okay, understood. Can I ask you some personal questions?
Yes, sir.
What is your age, Maggie?
I just turned 57 this month, Dr. Joe.
Congratulations, 57. Okay. All right. And what part of the country do you live, Maggie?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
All right. And how long have you been having digestive issues, Maggie?
For many years.
What's many years?
I've been in several car accidents, and I've been on pain medication for a while. I think that's the result of it.
All right. Now, how long now I suspect, okay, and this is what I want you to do. Have you had any type of operations, surgeries? Or first of all, before we get to the surgeries, are you on any type of medication, like for you said painkillers? Are you on any type? Are you a diabetic? Are you hypertensive? Anything like that?
No, I am not. Oh, yes, I am. I just started, unfortunately, taking blood pressure medication about 2 months ago.
All right, 2 months ago. But besides that, nothing.
Yes.
All right.
I am a breast cancer survivor.
Okay.
And I'm on some pills for bone loss and preventable bone loss and neuropathy.
Okay. All right. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but hopefully it'll make
That's
sense.
okay.
It'll make sense soon. What is your weight and height, Maggie?
I am 5'10", and my current weight after the 6.7 weight loss last week is 238 point something.
6.7 pounds. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
That's awesome. Okay. How many years, was there ever a time in your life when you did not have digestive issues?
Yes.
When?
It was prior to my son's birth. When I was pregnant in 1992.
Okay.
It said that's when my digestive problems started to happen because I gained quite a bit of weight.
How long have you been, Maggie, on the pain? When did the digestive issues start with when you started the pain medications?
Probably, I would say at least 15 years plus.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me tell you what I think you need. And I can't tell you this. I'm no medical doctor. But to me, in listening to you, it has a lot to do with not only lifestyle, but your liver as well. Your liver needs to be strengthened and your liver needs to be detoxed. What I want you to do, Maggie, I want you to go to, what part of the country do you live in, Maggie? Texas, right?
I'm in Texas.
You're in Texas.
Texas.
All right. I want you to go to your local vitamin or herb store, and I want you to get them to recommend to you detox teas that you'll take. I want you to get an herbal tea. There are a lot of things that you can take, like dandelion root, turmeric. They have good combinations of it. And I want you to start there, because I think with not only changing your diet, but focusing on a good liver support. Now, this is a liver support that I take right here. I don't know if you can see me, but you can look at it later. It's called Vita Liver Advanced Liver Support. It has milk thistle seed, angelica root, shana, pedra leaves, stems, artichoke leaf, dandelion root. You take it once a day. And something like this, what I'm telling you, is not going to hurt you. Okay. And the reason why I feel that it's a liver issue is because one of the major problems of liver function are pain medications and statin medications and aspirins. These things degrade the liver. When the liver is not functioning properly, digestive issues and the inability to cleanse and detoxify, because that's what the liver is about. So I think that my recommendation for you is something that's not going to harm you. The detox teas is not anything that's going to hurt you. All of those things that I mentioned are all natural. And I want you to start there. I want to start there. Okay. And I want you to get them to make recommendations to a good tea that they recommend. And I want to start you doing that. Talk to your doctor to be certain it doesn't interfere with anything that you're taking. But that coupled with your new way of eating, 80-20, I believe that within the next week or so, you should get some positive movements or at least see improvement in your digestion. That's what I think.
Okay.
Okay. How does that sound?
Yeah, because sometimes okay, I'll start with that. Thank you so very much, sir.
Okay, and thank you so much for calling, Maggie. All right. Be blessed. All right. All right, gang. I'll take one more, and then I'm gonna give you some more information. Shout out to Maggie. And to the point of Casey, she's right. Congratulations on kicking breast cancer's butt. Great job, Maggie. And Maggie lost 6.7 pounds this week. That ain't a bad week. Okay.
Call from.
This is Dr. Joe. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Dr. Joe. This is Cynthia Broughton. I'm with Eva's Girls.
How are you, Cynthia?
I'm fine. In our group, we have 3 Cynthias, so they call me Dr. Cynthia.
All right. How are you?
I am fine. First of all, I want to thank you again for everything you're doing. It is such a blessing, more than you will ever possibly be able to know. I want you to know that I'm drinking a lot of water because of my weight.
Yes.
And so I was just wondering if you have any thoughts, first of all, or recommendations regarding water being room temperature or cold. And then secondly, the urination problem at night 4, 5, 6 times is beginning to be a problem and I tried moving my meals up earlier and drinking water, cutting it off earlier, still having to get up 6 or 7 times. So I'm not getting a good night's sleep.
All right. Great. Understood. And I understand your question. First of all, let's deal with the temperature. For me, it depends on what time of year it is. I do better with cold water. It's difficult for me to drink room temperature water unless I'm just super thirsty. To me, it goes down easier when I'm drinking cold water. But everybody's not like that. So what you have to do, Maggie, you want to be certain that you do what is best for you. What do you feel yourself getting down early? Second, the earlier you start on your water, the better. You want to be done with your water around 3, 4 o'clock, about 3 hours before you go to bed. All right. That's the second tip. The third tip, you saying, Dr. Joe, I'm getting up every night and I'm going to the restroom 6, 7 times. Please, I know this sounds, I know you want to get a good night rest, but that is a great sign. It will get better over time. And what's happening is your body is purging. It is detoxifying. It is releasing. It's doing everything that you need it to do. I promise you, it will get better. It will get better. So if you can just hold on just a little while longer, try to cut your water out maybe around 3 hours before you go to bed, the hormone levels will adjust. And I'm not saying you'll be able to sleep for 7 straight hours, but you won't be getting up 6 to 7 times a night. It will improve.
Wonderful. I'm going to do it because I'm in it for me.
Right? Okay. All right. Thank you for calling in. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Be blessed. All right, gang. Well, I've got some information for you, so don't go anywhere. Thank you all for calling in. And another shout out to our village chat champ, Norma. Thank you, Norma, for being my guest. Listen, gang, tomorrow is going to be a big day. In the morning, I will be providing week 1 analysis. What you all have to understand, we have our own in-house statistician. We are not bootleg. I have my own in-house statistician who generates numbers from every person who's in this process. Every man, every woman, some almost 2,000 people. All right. And every Monday, I'm going to provide the weekly analysis of how this group is performing. This is important because it's going to let you know how well or how well we are not performing. It's also going to let me know if what we're doing is working and if we're headed in the right direction. So most times I'll be live sometime in the AM hours. I'll let you know about 30 minutes to an hour before I go live. For those of you who want to watch it, you'll be able to be a part. If you can't participate live, you'll be able to watch it later on. Don't worry about that. I think you'll like how we break things down. Also in the morning, after I do the statistical analysis, I'm going to review your 80-20 meals that we started posting on today. I told you guys I take off on the weekend as a respect, as my faith of respecting the Sabbath and keeping it holy, doing those things, not to work as much as I can. I think I make up for it in terms of what I do. And the reason why I do the masterclass on the Sabbath is I look upon it as given to God's people. So it is a part of my Sabbath. But all of those different things I take off, and we're going to start back on Monday morning. So I'll provide for you the weekly analysis for the 40-day turn up. I'm going to provide for you the analysis for the Journey 3.0. We're going to give context with both of those, as well as I'm going to review your 80-20 meals to help you make adjustments, tweaks, so you can have a great week. All right. That's what I'm going to do on tomorrow. It's important. Also, I'm going to have some important housekeeping items that I cannot address right now. Some things that are going on in groups, some things that are going on that we need to quelch and that we need to make corrections to. And this is not the platform for me to address it, but it'll be in a private platform where the world is not listening, where it's only us. Because y'all know, it's some conversations you only need to have in your house. And being that this is a public platform, but I do not want anyone else listening or hearing those items. Now, what I need you to do, for those of you who are leading and coming into, who are in this process, I do not need you to let off the gas. I do not need you to chill. I do not need you to gloat in what you did on last week. I need your ears tucked behind you. I need your head in the wind. And I need you doing everything that you can to give it all that you can. That's what I need you to do. We're going to wake up in the morning and I want ironclad focus. Ironclad focus. All right. I'm the type of person, I always want to be on the winning side. All right. I want us to push hard this week. I want us to be focused this week. I want us to eliminate every problem, everything you did not do right last week. I want you to get it right this week. Everything that you did too much of, that you need to do less of it, I want you to fix it this week. A lot of y'all are eyeing your meals. You're not weighing them. All you're doing is setting yourself up for a miserable weigh-in. Well, it's too difficult. It's not supposed to be easy. I need you to focus. Give it 100%. Let us, my team, my coaches, let us handle the rest. Okay? So let's knock it out the park this week, gang. Great village chat on tonight. Shout out to my girl Norma all the way in Chicago for gracing us with her presence. Shout out to each of you who called in. Shout out to all 724 of you all who are listening. I hope this provides value to you. I hope you're excited, but I hope you're excited not based upon what you've done, but for what's ahead. Be well, be blessed. God willing, I'll see you in the morning. Peace.